Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Leo and fears, and yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Well, anyway, people, generally Leo is not a sign that is really that fearful or really has many fears, at least ones that don't stand out, obviously, or in a blatant manner, but they do have some, and I'm going to talk about some of them. Now, Leo, the first thing stands out to me. It's maybe a fear of them could be not being able to be extravagant, to being able to spend whatever they want. Leo often has very big taste. They often live large. And if they don't have what they want in order to buy high quality items, this could put them in a very fearful state. I think that is one fear. And also, matters connected with pride and ego, I think Leo can be very fearful of. They don't want, as far as, like, for example, being shown up by somebody else, somebody being a friend being intellectually superior to him or her. Maybe winning an argument, or whether it's a physical confrontation or an argument. Leo is a sign that loves to conquer and likes to be victorious. They want to be king at virtually whatever it is, and they just don't really like to lose. It's a little different than Aries. Aries is just very competitive. They like to be in first. They like to lead, and they just they want to. It's like Aries is synonymous with being first. I think Leo just wants to, basically they want to conquer and they want to be king. So basically they don't want to just win, they want to dominate. So anyway, well, another thing is, I think also when I look at Leo, first, another thing I want to look at is, well, Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer often falls on the 12th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Leo. And I think when I look at this, it's really one fear with Cancer being there often. Well, it could be of showing emotion and vulnerability. I think Leo figuratively licks those wounds, so to speak, in seclusion often and in solitude. And a lot of this is attributed, I believe, to Cancer often being on the 12th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Leo. It's their pride. They're very dignified, and Leo generally does not want that to be shown to others. And because if they're upset or about something and they show it publicly, I think they might feel they might be seen maybe as weak by showing that, and they often will not let something that bothers them at least show superficially. And also people that they could, with Cancer often being on the 12th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Leo, I think also people that wallow in self-pity, because Leo often likes to be very positive, very confident about things, and they don't really want to be around those people that are going to be wallowing and feeling sorry for themselves. Leo is about going ahead, moving forward, and forgetting of the past. And also, I think what Leo could fear, because of what I'm describing with Cancer often being on the 12th house cusp in a solar natal chart for them, is that they could also fear introversion and introspection. In showing sensitivity, introversion is more synonymous with the zodiac sign Cancer, and Leo, of course, is often very extroverted and gregarious, and they often, I think they just don't feel a need to live with inside themselves. They have to go out and shine and really show their stuff, so to speak, really in mingling with others, because they feel that being introverted, I think, means that that there's less opportunity for them to be noticed in their positive attributes. And as Leo's motto can be, if you got it, flaunt it, and they certainly know they can't do that if they're dominated by indoor activity. And also, I think too, contemplation is a Cancer thing, and that could be something that they could be strongly averse to, whether it's contemplation or just really ruminating or lamenting over something. Leo likes to act more than it does to want to sit there and think about something, or thinking about, I think also Cancer energy, Cancer, as I stated before, Cancer is often on that 12th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Leo. And with Cancer, they're often, I think a lot of this is that Leo can be strongly fearful of reminiscing about the past, especially negative things connected with the past, because Leo just wants to go forward. If they start thinking about things of the past, especially if there's something very adverse or negative connected with them, that it might prohibit them from moving forward and concentrating on the now. They're not ones to wallow. They're not ones to think about things that happened previously. They want to do what they have to do right at that particular moment. And they're also not going to be, they also might fear clingy people like Cancers, that ones that might cling to them, because Leos need to have, I think, certain separation from others, whether it's their friends or otherwise, because Leo just needs their time to do their thing. They could be a little bit aloof, similar to Aries, I think, and I think that has something to do with it. And also, they could be fearful of things or people that are just petty, overly petty, and ones that may focus on trivial or insignificant things, especially those of the past, and they don't really often have time for that. Now, another thing too, when you look at Leo and fears, okay, the opposite sign of Leo is Aquarius. So this could be something, things that are connected with the sign Aquarius might be something that they are at least averse to, or if not fearful of expressing. Now, the thing about it is, I think being Aquarius, being the opposite sign, maybe Leo may fear innovation, things that are revolutionary to some degree. And it's not that Leo can't be inventive. Leo could actually be very creative. But, I mean, if they know somebody that's very innovative or inventive, it's like, well, gee, that person came up with this idea before I did, and now I'm like, I'm Leo. I'm the one that's supposed to be doing this, and now this person gets these accolades and this recognition for this, and why couldn't I have come up with that? Now, it's kind of a pride thing with Leo, I believe. And I think they are reversed, because Aquarius, being the opposite sign of them, could to rather bizarre, unpredictable acts. Leos like things, I think, a little bit more of the status quo. They're a little bit more conventional than Aquarius is. And I mean, they just really, they might see Aquarians or Aquarius-like behavior, maybe perceive them as weird, I think. And also, I think, too, what Leo can fear, given that Aquarius is the opposite sign to them, the sign to them, is really being, expressing a very strong, amiable nature. I'm not saying that they can't be congenial or be ever friendly or amicable, but I think it's emphasized a lot less with them as opposed to Aquarius. And maybe a lot of it's attributed to Leos are often in a position of authority, and maybe they just feel, well, I can't really be too friendly, or otherwise things simply are not going to get done. So anyway, last but not least, I want to get to the sign Capricorn, because the house that Capricorn is on in a solar natal chart can often indicate what our fears could be to some degree, and also like what we are averse to, what one may avoid or evade or elude. So anyway, well, in a solar natal chart for Leo, Capricorn often falls on the 6th house cusp. And given that, well, Leos may often avoid or at least procrastinate on issues that they connected with their health life, because I think Leo feels that they're almost invincible or impervious to health issues. Because, I mean, hey, Leo generally has a very strong constitution. They often have that near inexorable and indefatigable energy. And they just, I think, feel like, they're like the Energizer Bunny. They keep going and going. But I think that, that's a thing that many need to learn to confront sooner than later as far as health issues because of this. And also, the 6th house with Capricorn often being on it in a solar natal chart is also I mean, that's the house of work. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot of Leos that can work very laboriously and for a very long period of time, but sometimes they might shirk or really might be in fear even of certain work responsibilities. Leo can work hard, but they also like to have that balance of relaxing, I think, as well. And last but not least on this, the sixth house is often the house of worry. I mean, not all, but I mean, I see it as a house of worry because the sixth house corresponds with Virgo. Capricorn being on it, this could be something where Leo can be averse to not worrying and not confronting issues they think they have that would cause worry. So often they just try to block out the negative with the positive. Leo is often about being very self-assured and confident, but at the same time, sometimes there are certain things that one needs to be concerned with and to worry about, and having a not worry approach sometimes may not always be good, because a lot of times there's things that need to be worried about but sometimes are avoided. And I think it might have a lot to do with Capricorn often being on the sixth house cusp in a solar natal chart for Leo. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Leo fears. Stay tuned next time, where I'm going to break this series up momentarily and talk about what I feel, in my opinion, is the most dangerous zodiac sign. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person astrologically speaking based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.